Hello and welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Friday with Friends. And today's friend, you're not a guest, you're a friend. Esperanza, do I pronounce your last name Garay?
Yes. Hi, Craig.
Oh, how about that? I got it right. Esperanza Garay, a friend of the Miami Raja Yoga Center for some time now. Mm-hmm. And the title that was given to today's session is Humans Do, Beings Are, Finding the Balance. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot to do in 20 minutes or so. That's a big order. So welcome, Esperanza. It's good to see you.
Hi, Craig. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, and I'm so glad you're here. Just for a little bit of background, can you give me the circumstances of how you came to know Raja Yoga and why?
Okay, I met because of the invitation of a friend. One day she invited me to the meeting on Friday's night at the Miami Center in Coral Gables. And this invitation was right after I came from India. I took a retreat in India and I really love it. But when I'm back, I said, okay, how can I practice all of that information that they gave me? Because it's so difficult in this part of the world, you know? And many things that I learned in India, I didn't understand so well. So when I went to that meeting that Friday, the conversation was so easy, clear. And I thought, oh my God, this is the same knowledge that I heard, but in the way that I can understand, I can put in practice. Was very clear, simple, and wise. So I love it, and I started to continue every Friday. And I start with the Brahma Kumaris, and after I took a course, I loved the course. I took the course maybe 3 times, and I really want to take away again, because I think it's a very good rehearsal, you know. It's very important to have these key points every day in your mind. So that's my beginning in Brahma Kumaris.
So I take it that you're probably from a Roman Catholic background. And did that present any conflict to you when you first started, like something that you go to India and maybe there's a little bit of discomfort?
Bueno, when I always, since I was a child, I have a great connection with God, and I love the religious and spiritual topics because I feel inside enormous empathy with that kind of things. Religious because I grew up in Catholic religion, but I knew it's something more than religion, you know, because the basic of Catholic religion is a wonderful topic. Jesus said, God is love. And I felt it, and I think it's in that way. But in the moment that you practice every day, was not the same. They said many times about guilty and about punishment. And I said, okay, guilt, punish is not compatible with love. Something is wrong here. That's the reason I always was reserved in my opinions, and I tried to find something different. And one day, a friend, a very close friend of mine, invited me to go to this retreat in Chennai, in India. And when I went there, I really love it how India have this spiritual life. They are completely different to us. You know, the education, the lifestyle is completely different like us.
Yes.
Because they are more contact, they are more close to the real nature. So I love it. And when I went to Brahma Kumaris, I said, okay, this is the place that I really want to go. I couldn't make a meditation before, never, because I went to sleep if I tried, or I had the back pain because of the position, whatever. So when I went to Brahma Kumaris and they said, okay, here meditation is with the eye open, and the position is comfortable. That's it. So for me, said, okay, that's true, because it's not the position, it's not the breathe, it's all. It's your inner energy. And if you are comfortable, if you are relaxed, obviously it's easier to connect with God, with yourself. So I love the Raja meditation for that. And you can practice, when you used to make a meditation in that way, you can practice this kind of meditation in the real life when you are in a difficult situation, in job, on the street, or personal life. You can maintain your control, your peace, I love it.
So that's another point that you brought up for me, is that it's practical.
Uh-huh.
And something you said earlier stood out to me. You used 3 words: clear, simple, and wise.
Yeah.
And that you must have been connected to that, because like saying God is love, that's just a truth. And it's not all the other stuff that comes with it. All the frills of culture and tradition are different than the simple truths that come with it. So I congratulate you on your vision to see past familiarity. What I often tell people is that it's like tribal. We are more attracted to our tribe than it is the message that it's giving. But in reality, if God is love, then we're all connected, because we're all human beings.
Yeah.
So why don't you go there for me a little bit too, and tell me a little bit about what you think about a human being is.
Okay, was when I took the introduction course in Brahma Kumari, I love the topic that they said, we are a human being. Human because we are a body that we can touch. And beings because we are an energy, soul, conscious, whatever you can understand the concept. But it's the interaction of both that we can exist. Soul is nothing without a body in this life. But body is nothing without a soul in this life. So is the basic point. So because you can see this in our brain shows us how life works. We have 2 hemispheres, left hemisphere and right hemisphere on our brain. And the very, very key point is our right hemisphere control the left part of our body. And the left hemisphere of our brain control the right part of our body. So it's the interaction, it's the harmony of both sides. This is life. In our brain, we have whole information that is ¿cómo se dice? How is inside is outside, So in our life, it's the same thing. For me, in the body and the being have different qualities. The qualities of the being is peace, love, wisdom, purity, happiness. We born with us. Our soul is all of that. But the body have another things. That is the opposites. Life is the harmony of these opposites. I know today is now is morning because I know the night. We know what is sweet because I know something bitter. You know, it's the harmony of the opposites that allow to life exist. So when the opposite of peace is anger, hatred, all of these emotions, you know, that is not good. That when we are angry, we lost our peace immediately. The opposite of love is attachment, because attachment is a conditioned love, not free love. Because you are my husband, you have to do this. Because you are my son, you have to do this. No, you are a beautiful soul, and you are perfect like you are, you know. The opposite of wisdom is ignorance, ego, pride, you know. The opposite of purity is lust, but it's not only like a celibate. The purity is only in your words, in your actions, in the way that you see purity, open, you know. But lust, in the meaning of uncontrollable desire, is the enemy of this purity. And the enemy or the opposite of happiness is greed, because you never feel fulfilled. Nothing is enough. You always want more. When you have that sensation, you never can be happy.
No.
So I think finding the balance that you said, I think the key to finding the balance is to understand these principles. If you are conscious about your bad energies, you can lose. If you are jealousy, for example, jealousy is the opposite of love, or anger is the opposite of peace, of greed is the opposite of my happiness. When you are conscious of that, the beautiful thing is you can change it, the emotion. You have the capacity. You have that capacity if you develop in your mind these concepts firmly.
Would you say that meditation is the process to develop that process?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So,
because meditation is help you to going inside and going to the mind, and you create the thoughts. And the thoughts is the beginning of everything, you know? And you
yes,
reinforce every day is the same. So that's the reason it's very important to make meditation when you wake up and when you go to sleep. To remember in our mind what is the position of the things, you know. It's not a problem if you are angry in one moment, or if you are jealousy. It's not a problem. It's our nature. It's not a problem. But the problem is if you maintain that state. That's the problem.
So it starts with the awareness that, you know, that it exists, because many times I find that if someone tells me I would have one of those things, there might be initial resistance to what they're saying. I don't even want to see that in myself, because I don't understand that I have the power to remove that, which is, you know, you're talking about the original qualities. Do you think that, you know, anger and greed are original qualities of the soul?
No, the original qualities of the being is peace, love, purity, happiness. But all of these qualities have an opposite.
I see.
The opposites. The opposite of peace is anger. The opposite of love is attachment. The opposite of wisdom is ego. The opposite of purity is lust. And the opposite of happiness is greed. But all of us feel that.
Yes.
It's impossible to be. It's impossible to be only in the qualities of the being, because remember, we are human beings,
Right.
not beings. So we have to live with both, but we have to harmonize both. I have to have our awareness to understand when we are living in the opposites, we have the power to change it and going back to the quality of our real being. I think this is the key.
You know, that's excellent, actually. And that's, in essence, you just gave the course.
Oh my
The
God.
course. Yeah. You know, and because to learn that, it only takes one day to hear it, but it's a lifetime to work on it. And that's why you did it 3 times and you want to do it again, is because you could never hear enough about the truth about yourself, because there's so many repetitions of not being that. You know, we're surrounded by, we live in an age of not the information age, we live in the misinformation age, where misinformation is just as readily available as information.
Yeah.
And so where do I go to? What do I trust? And what you've told me is that I learned to trust myself because of the being part of me. This is my original nature. Would you say that's true?
Yes. I think the big problem with us is because it's an education that we receive for many, many, many generations, is we are disconnected with our inner power. God is outside. All of the enemies is outside. You know, for example, jealousy. When I'm feeling jealousy, it's not because of me. It's because of him. You know? And I said, it's because of him that I feel, no.
Yeah.
No. Because all of the idea that I have in our mind for many centuries is you are here and everything, including God, is outside of you. I think this is the terrible thing. Now we are going inside and I realize I am a soul. I am a pure soul. I have my connection with God and He's connected with me. We don't need to go to everywhere or do this or do that. It's my connection with Him, you know. Obviously, the places like Madhuban or places like the retreats helps you to develop more connection, because the ambient, the atmosphere that you have around help you, you know, to be more concentrated, more relaxed, more in harmony with you. But if you don't have the possibility to go, you have your own world, inside world, and nobody can enter there. The only thing that you have to be is in silence. In silence, wherever you are, at home, in bed, in wherever, in the garden, wherever, is you with you. When you are with you, God is with you. Baba is with you.
There you go. Well, you know, that is absolutely perfect. And it's just like a recipe, the recipe you did with perfection. And so now let's cook the recipe a little bit. Why don't we do this now? We normally close with a few minutes of meditation. And you can just sit there. And as you talked about the meditation, I remember we talked briefly earlier that you really like the eyes open aspect of the meditation, because we do live life with our eyes open. Usually closing the eyes is sleeping. And so that's why sometimes the people fall asleep in meditation, because that's what goes together. This is, I'm seeing life and my eyes focus and I visualize with my eyes. So let's try that. And you can just sit, and into the camera, you just send that powerful thoughts that you're having. And I'll give a commentary that's kind of what I feel is from what you said. Is that all right with you?
Okay.
All right. So number 1, find a position that's comfortable. It's not that you have to sit like in the jungle, cross-legged, but just so the spine is rather straight. And since one of the connections, just like the human and the being are in harmony, so what connects human to being, you could say, is breath. So let's take 3 deep breaths just to get the body ready. And just inhaling and exhaling fully. No technique, just breathing deeply and fully. And one more. And already I can feel a calm taking over my body. And I recognize that it's also silent. I got much more quiet. Not the quiet of words, but a quiet in the mind, a mind without noise. And in this silence, I could see more clearly. And instead of looking outside like I normally do, just for a few minutes, I turn my vision inwards and look at myself. I think about some of the things that you said, that my nature is peace. When I'm quiet enough, I feel that peace, and actually I know that I am that peace. It's the same with love. It's my nature. It's not based on anything outside of me. It's who I am when everything is taken away. Just like you said, God is love. In the same way, in the image and likeness, I'm also love. And the more and more I realize that I am nothing more than peace and love, well, just like the title is, humans do, and beings are. In the same way, peace is, I am peace. And the reason I act, the highest motivation that I can have to act, is out of love. Love for myself, love for those in my life, love for the world in general, and just love for the earth itself. A caring, kind of a stewardship. Not controlling anything, but just caring. And this purity of intention gives me quite a power. I am powered by the purity of my intention. And I make a little note to myself. It says, don't forget who you are. Don't forget that you're this being of peace. And out of love, share that vibration. Share it with everyone that you meet. Just share it. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Esperanza,
Yes,
it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to me.
It was a pleasure. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Namaste.
Bye.